Welcome to today's explainer. Look, today we're completely rethinking website monetization. If you're still operating under that old, tired assumption that more traffic automatically equals more money, well, it's really time for a serious upgrade. We are shifting that mindset right now. Our goal today is to understand exactly how high-value, quality content is the true driver of AdSense revenue in the AI era. We've distilled the latest data and strategies into a super clear, actionable playbook just for you. So let's get into it. Okay, let's dive right into this step-by-step masterclass playbook for optimizing your ad revenue. First up, the 2026 AdSense landscape. Then, choosing high-value niches, the EAT content strategy, technical SEO and hosting, and finally, smart setup and optimization. But hey, before we get into all the nuts and bolts, let's just anchor ourselves to the sheer financial opportunity we're talking about here. Google pays out an incredibly generous 68% revenue share to content publishers. Yup, 68%. They keep 32%, and you, the creator, take home the lion's share. But to really maximize that 68%, we need to understand exactly how Google decides which ads go where. And that brings us to what is honestly the most fundamental shift in digital advertising. With the death of third-party cookies, behavioral tracking is, well, it's out. Instead, we have contextual targeting. Basically, Google's AI now actually reads and understands your content to match ads based on what the page is about, rather than who happens to be reading it. This means your content's quality and topical depth, that's now your single biggest financial lever. Section 1. The 2026 AdSense landscape. Let's look at AdSense in 2026. So, there is a pretty stark contrast between the old AdSense myth and today's reality. The old playbook was all about volume, right? Pumping out hundreds of cheap, thin articles and just letting third-party cookies do the heavy lifting, chasing users all around the web. But in 2026, AdSense is driven by AI contextual targeting. Depth wins. Trust wins. A well-written, highly specific article about, say, business accounting software is going to attract high-paying SaaS advertisers purely based on the text on the page. There's literally zero need for audience profiling anymore. The crucial point is captured perfectly in this quote from our sources. Content quality is now the single most direct lever on ad relevance and ad revenue. Because the AI is actively reading your page to gauge advertiser value, a well-optimized page in a high CPC niche earns significantly more per visitor today than it ever would have back in 2022 or 2023. And poorly optimized shallow pages? Yeah, they earn proportionally less. Moving on to Section 2, high-value niches, where you really need to focus. Because here's the truth, not all traffic is created equal when it comes to advertiser demand. Now, what's really interesting about this data is the concept of the niche multiplier. This basically shows how much a category outperforms the baseline global average RPM. Finance is the undisputed king here with a 3.0x multiplier. That means it earns 3 times the global average. But wait, look down at legal at the bottom. While its multiplier is 2.3x, it boasts a massive $6.70 average cost per click. Law firms are paying an absolute premium for every single click because a single client is just so incredibly valuable to them. Choosing a high-value niche before you write a single word, that is hands down the most impactful decision you can make. But you know, when you publish actually matters almost as much as where. Seasonal ad spend tells a really fascinating story. In Q1, the post-holiday slowdown drops the multiplier down to 0.82x. But watch what happens as we move through the year. By Q4, the holiday shopping frenzy drives that multiplier all the way up to 1.35x. To put that into perspective, the exact same amount of traffic in Q4 can yield a 65% increase in revenue compared to Q1. So publishing aggressively and building your SEO footprint before that Q4 surge hits, that is a massive ROI strategy. Now, of course, niches like finance and legal are incredibly competitive, right? It's tough out there. So if you want high value without the insane, saturated competition, you should definitely consider these underrated niches: home improvement, marketing, and education. These mid-tier options offer incredibly strong buyer intent. Think about it. When someone is searching for renovation guides or B2B marketing tools, they're already close to making a purchasing decision. And that intent translates directly into solid RPMs and very eager advertisers. All right, Section 3, the EEAT strategy and how to build trust. Once you've chosen your niche, you've got to execute. Because AdSense income is directly proportional to your organic traffic, EEAT is no longer just some dry SEO checklist. It's a pure revenue concern.
So here's your actionable masterclass checklist for building EEAT-compliant content. First, you need clear author experience signals. We're talking named bylines with real credentials. Second, you must focus on topical depth over breadth. Listen to this. 30 comprehensively linked articles on one specific topic will always outrank 200 shallow articles on random subjects. Third, add schema markup so Google really understands your structure. And finally, maintain content freshness by actively updating your existing posts with new data.
So how does this actually affect the ads themselves? Well, it's a direct correlation. Long-form content, typically over 1,500 words, not only ranks better, but it generates a much higher click-through rate, or CTR, for your ads. Why? Because it increases user engagement time. Conversely, short-form content under 100 words really suffers from faster bounce rates and lower CTR. Deeper content holds attention, and attention pays. Simple as that.
And geography adds another absolutely vital layer to your content strategy. Where your readers live dictates exactly what advertisers are willing to pay. And this brilliantly illustrates that point. Tier 1 traffic from places like the USA, the UK, and Australia actually earns 3 to 5 times more than Tier 3 traffic for the exact same number of views. It's crazy. So your content should be intentionally tailored to attract these high-value geographic audiences. Next up is Section 4, Technical SEO and Hosting. This is your foundation.
You know, you could have the best niche in the world and the deepest content imaginable, but it will completely collapse without the right technical foundation. Google has directly confirmed that core web vitals are ranking factors, which means, by extension, they are direct revenue factors. You absolutely must optimize your LCP, or largest contentful paint, so the page loads quickly. You need to nail your INP, interaction to next paint, so the site is highly responsive, and you've got to control your CLS, cumulative layout shift, to ensure the page remains visually stable as it loads. This quote right here is a pretty stark warning. Layout instability reduces dwell time and lowers your RPM. Think about it. If an ad loads late and suddenly pushes the text down right as the user is reading it, they're going to leave, and they'll probably curse your website on the way out. That layout shift totally kills your user experience and tells Google's AI your page is low quality. This is exactly why cheap shared hosting is a false economy. Paying for fast managed hosting, that's a non-negotiable investment for protecting your RPM. Finally, Section 5, Smart Setup and Optimization. Let's manage those ads. Okay, let's look at the best practices to actually deploy and manage your ads effectively. The steps for long-term AdSense success are straightforward, but they definitely require discipline. Step 1, publish consistently to maintain that steady, engaged traffic. Step 2, please don't overwhelm your content with ads. Your content must always be the star of the page. Slapping too many ads on there will just wreck your dwell time. And step 3, never ever try to game the system. Don't click your own ads, don't buy cheap traffic. Google's AI invalid click protection will catch it in real time, and you'll be facing an immediate account suspension. It's just not worth it.
Now, when it actually comes to placing the ads, you have a choice. You've got AI-powered auto ads, which dynamically analyze your layout and user scroll behavior to find the perfect spots. Or you have manual custom ads, which give you total control over in-feed and in-article placements. So what does this all mean? Which one is actually better? Well, the data shows that blending the two is the ultimate optimization strategy. Enabling Google's auto ads alongside 2 to 3 manually placed units consistently delivers the highest combined RPM.
So we've covered the whole AI-driven landscape, high-value niches, the absolute necessity of EEAT, your technical foundations, and smart setup. The era of thin content and cheap traffic? Yeah, that's completely over. We are living in the quality-first revolution. Advertisers are absolutely willing to pay a premium, but only for environments that offer genuine expertise and trust. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought as you plan your next move. Your audience is waiting. Is your content valuable enough to earn their click? Think about it. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.